I speak to a lot of people who are planning to move to a foreign country. One of the things that they are so looking forward to, some of them, is to not have to have a car. They've chosen countries and cities where the public transportation system is good enough and it will get them around. And I think that is a wonderful thing because it's great for the environment. But here I am living in France and I do have a car. So why is that? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you why I chose to buy a car and how I view driving now. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. If you like content about life in France or moving abroad or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms, then do subscribe and click that notification bell. I am Patricia Brooks, and in 2018, I left Richmond, Virginia, and I moved to the south of France to find myself. And it has been an incredible journey, and I am finding myself. And in this video, I'm going to share with you why I chose to buy a car after 18 months of living in France. All right. And as a bonus, you get to watch some footage of me driving in the Pyrenees Mountains. A recent trip I took to Les Angles. So enjoy the view. Now, I was in France for an entire 18 months before I decided to buy a car. So why was that? Well, first off, my first year I spent living in Perpignan, which is a fairly big city. Public transportation was fine. I didn't need a car. And I was just acclimating to everything that was so new to me. So buying a car was just not something that was on my radar at the time. Now, I had every intention of buying a car before I moved to France because I had bought a new cell phone, and one of the things I bought with that cell phone was a little kit that had a car charger. So it was my intention. It just was not something I got around to for 18 months. The first 12 months, I was in a bigger city, didn't need it, wasn't thinking about it. So then in my second year, I moved to a smaller village of about 8,000 people. Now, there's public transportation here that is fairly good, but it is limiting in terms of the hours that it runs, right? So I waited a whole 6 months while I was living here, the first year I was living here, to buy a car. And so why was that? Well, the first reason was I was scared. I didn't know how to buy a car here in France. I didn't even know if it was possible. So I delayed. I said, yeah, I want to buy a car. It was in my mind, but was not something that I had committed to. Not until my friend Yolanda came to visit me. And she came to visit and she rented a car. And I was reminded of one of the reasons that I enjoyed driving in the United States. And that is that sense of freedom that it brings. When I was 17 years old in New Jersey, I got my driver's license. I was so ecstatic. I could borrow the car from my mom and I could drive and go to the mall if I wanted to, when I wanted to, for the most part. And there was something so freeing about it. And so when Yolanda rented the car and we drove here and we drove there, it reminded me of this freedom that I had. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a car. And so that was one of the things that caused me to say, I got to figure this thing out. And so I did. So freedom, the freedom and flexibility that having a car affords me here is the biggest reason that I decided to buy a car here. Now, I don't drive my car every single day, but when I need it, I have it. And I think that that is something that is important to me. And having a car brings with it other things as well. I remember in between my freshman year and sophomore year of university, I had 2 summer jobs and I needed the car a lot. And my mother also needed to use the car in the summer. So that's when we decided it was time for me to buy a car. And I bought a 1987 Hyundai Excel in red. And I bought that, but with that came responsibility. I had my 2 summer jobs that helped me to pay for the first couple of car notes. But then when I went back to college, I had to get a second job off campus. I had an on-campus job, but that wasn't enough to pay the car note. My mom helped me out with the insurance, thankfully, but I needed to pay for the car. And so I got a job at the Holyoke Mall at a store, a stationery store, a card store called Shots. And I love greeting cards, so this was the perfect thing for me. But I remember also that I had to be more intentional about when I studied. My first year at university, I was petrified that I was not going to do well academically. And so I studied all the time, or was in front of a book all of the time. And I did okay. They asked me to come back for a second year. But in my second year, when I had the car and I had the 2 jobs, I found that my studying was more effective because I had to be more productive in the time that I did have to study. And ironically, my grades improved. Now, I know that's an aside, but I wanted to share that. But having the car at college was nice because while there was the 5 college bus that would take me to the other colleges in the area, I could go to University of Massachusetts and take classes there. Or if I wanted to go to Smith, I could go to Northampton. But that was limited. Having the car allowed me to take my friends to a party at Williams College. And that was an experience because the roads were windy, kind of like some of the roads here, and they were mountainous, and it was an experience. But that also gave me that sense of freedom. So freedom is a big component for me. Now, the second reason that I did get a car here in France was because while I was in the United States, I had not got burned out of driving in France. I hear a lot of people say, I hate driving. There's so much traffic, on and on and on. But for me, my commute, the last 5 years, I was driving into a job in the U.S. It was about a 15-minute commute. If there was heavy traffic, maybe it was 20 minutes. So I wasn't on the road a whole lot. I did drive Monday through Friday. On the weekend, sometimes I drove, sometimes I didn't. But it was something that was not a hassle for me. And so I enjoyed driving. So it wasn't something that I didn't want to do here. I just delayed because I wasn't sure how to do it. And there was a little bit of fear. So now I have my car and I'm able to go on road trips. I'm able to drive to the supermarket on hot days or days when I'm buying a lot more groceries and I don't have to lug that back walking. And so that is very convenient. Convenience is another reason. Freedom, convenience for me. Now, as I said, in Perpignan, the bus service was good. But here, the hours are limited. On Sundays, I don't even think the bus runs into Perpignan anymore. It used to. And in the evenings, it stops service at about 7:30 or 8 p.m. So if I want to go to a party or if I want to go to a concert at night, that's not a possibility for me if I didn't have the car. Now it is. All right. So those are the reasons that I chose to buy a car here in France. Now, there are some benefits and there are some disadvantages to having a car. Of course, I have the car insurance to pay for. I have maintenance to pay for. And those are, the downsides of having a car. But I think the upsides outweigh those downsides, at least for me. Another upside besides the freedom and the flexibility and convenience is that it has helped to build my confidence in a couple of ways. First off, when I did buy the car, I had to speak to the auto insurance agent all in French because he did not speak English. And I managed that conversation. Now, this is 18 months in. I was not at the level of French fluency that I am today. And so having that conversation really boosted my confidence around my French language skills. It also, driving here in France, has also boosted my confidence in driving on narrow roads, right? Getting comfortable doing that. My recent trip that you're watching right now to the Pyrenees and Les Angles could have been nerve-wracking. The roads are windy, they're steep. Sometimes people want to drive faster than I was driving, but none of that bothered me. There are a lot of cyclists in the area. And so that can be nerve-wracking as well. But I was pretty cool driving along those roads. And that's because I've had more experience now driving on French roads. So that has built my confidence level. And another thing that I found really interesting on this trip, and it's a sign that I am much more confident, not only with my driving, but with my French language skills, is that I was able to hold conversations in French while driving. While that might seem a little bit odd for me to say, if you are driving and have driven for a while, speaking, having a conversation in your native tongue is not anything that is a hard thing to do. But when I first started driving here, I went on a hike with my friend Joelle, and she was speaking and I was trying to respond to her. She had asked me to drive to this hike that particular day. And I told her, I said, I can't talk. I just need to focus on driving, because my mind could only focus on one thing at a time. Now, a couple of weekends ago, I was talking to my friend in French, because that's all he speaks. And we were having a conversation. I was listening and understanding, comprehending. I was speaking, he was understanding me, and I was driving at the same time. So that shows that I have built up my level of French, but also my comfort level in driving here in France. And so confidence boosts all around. So those are the reasons I chose to buy a car here in France, and those are the benefits that I see to driving here. One thing I would have done differently is I would have gotten my driver's license during my first year here in France. There are about 17 or 18 US states that has a driver's license exchange with France. And if you are coming from one of those states that does have the exchange, I might recommend doing the exchange whether or not you choose to buy a car, because having a French driver's license and being a resident here could open up some doorways to you. Say you want to rent a car, it will make that easier for you. And doing it in the first year is what I recommend, because that's what the requirement is. Now, I did get my driver's license exchange after the first year, and I think part of that was due to the COVID situation. But for about 4 months, while I was waiting to hear back from the administration, whether or not they were going to grant me this license, or whether I was going to have to go to driving school and come out of pocket for 1,300 to 1,800 euros and then take a really hard driving exam, I sweated, because I wasn't sure it was going to go through, because it wasn't in the first year. And like I said, fortunately, it went through. I think it was due to changes from COVID, but that might not have happened, and I might have been in a very different situation. So, word to the wise, if your state has a driver's license exchange, even if you don't want to buy a car, you might want to go ahead and do the exchange, so you have the flexibility to drive here should you choose to at some point. All right? Without having to take the test. All right? So that is all I have for you today. I know that many of you are looking to make a move abroad, but might not know where to start, or might have some apprehension about actually taking the leap. And if that's the case and that's holding you back, I'd love to have a conversation to kind of understand what's going on for you, what's holding you back, and whether or not our working together could help ease some things for you. So check out the link in my description where you can find a time for us to talk, and I look forward to that conversation. Now, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoy videos like this one, these ride-along videos, then you might want to check out this playlist next. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.